so glad you're with us here on this Monday. I'm Brooke Hash, and we are coming off of an insane weekend of weather, from rain and deadly floods to snow and ice. It is to blame now for the deaths of 11 people, including a 7-year-old child. Governor Andy Beshear said today that number may grow.
We can now confirm 11 fatalities from this event. That number may still grow. We are still in the search and rescue phase of this emergency. We still have multiple different missions that are underway. There are still people that are in harm's way.
And of the 11 victims, we know 3 of them were in Pike County. That was a very hard-hit area. More than 1,000 water rescues have occurred across the state since these storms began Saturday. A team from Louisville Fire and Jefferson County Suburban Fire Departments deployed to Pikeville this weekend. They will be helping with any ongoing flood rescue operations. And take a look at this video showing a flooded creek in Pikeville. You can see just how fast those floodwaters are moving. And we're told most of the deaths in this round of floods have been attributed to the drivers attempting to drive through these flooded roads. Governor Beshear stressing that drivers should not attempt to drive through any type of water. Right now, several roadways in eastern and western Kentucky are still closed due to the rock and landslides that came with all of this. The photos there from I-69 near Madisonville, Kentucky, about 2 hours to our west. The rocks slid onto the northbound lanes of the interstate at the Hopkins-Caldwell County line. There's also a mudslide in Knox County, which shut down Kentucky 38. As the state braces for the next round of wind and snow, officials say the rock slides are still a big concern due to the wet ground.
About these rock slides, the rock falls, we're anxious about that because it will be a week-long concern for everyone.
Now, state officials say about 300 roads are blocked throughout the Commonwealth from flooding, mudslides, and landslides. Governor Beshear has said that more help is on the way following President Donald Trump's approval of Kentucky's disaster declaration request, which will allow FEMA to lead relief efforts across the state. The governor's office has also created a new relief fund to help with flood victims and their recovery. If you'd like to contribute, we have that story linked posted on our website at WHAS11.com. All donations are tax deductible. And this is not over. We are in for yet another round of severe winter weather this week. That's expected to hit Tuesday night and will affect us here in the metro and in southern Indiana. So you'll want to download this if you haven't already, the free WHAS11 app. You can get those alerts sent directly to your phone. And let's go ahead and check in now with our meteorologist, Mallory Schnell. You were there through it all over the weekend, Mallory. Sure. A ton of rain. Most people had no idea when they woke up the next day we were going to be having inches of snow on the ground.
Such a dynamic system.
Yeah.
It definitely overperformed. We had a ton of moisture to work with, and as that cold air caught up to it Sunday morning, many of us in the Louisville metro picked up a quick 2 to 3 inches of wet snowfall. Of course, that's on top of the flooding. And some good news, the area of flood warnings that we had in place, those have been allowed to expire, but we're still seeing flooding along the rivers, and that's what you're seeing highlighted here. In our direct viewing area here in Kentuckiana, that includes the Ohio River, the Salt River, Green River, Kentucky River, and Rolling Fork rivers. Now, a lot of these smaller rivers are pretty much at their peak. They're cresting at this point, and those river levels will decrease throughout the week. Meanwhile, rivers like the Ohio, we will still take some time for those river levels to rise throughout the week, likely cresting on Thursday. So those problem areas across the Louisville metro will likely see more of that flooding kind of inching its way onto River Road and those surrounding areas this week. Max HD radar, though, we're enjoying the blue sky and sunshine out there right now. It looks nice, but temperatures are still very chilly in the teens, low to mid 20s at this lunchtime hour, and with just a bit of a breeze that's dropping those wind chills even further. So one of those days where the sunshine looks nice, doesn't feel so nice, with temperatures likely staying near or below freezing as we head throughout this afternoon, running about 20 degrees below normal for this time of year. We are expecting partly sunny skies through the afternoon. Clouds will increase once again this evening and into tonight. And then we're tracking, yes, a very cold week ahead with more snow on the way. We'll talk about a winter storm watch coming up.
All right, Mallory, several people recovering still after those 3 charter buses crashed on the interstate over the weekend. It happened yesterday morning along I-71 North. LMPD said a semi-truck jackknifed, causing a chain reaction crash crashed with these 3 buses who were traveling together. 2 adults and 6 children were taken to the hospital for what police called minor injuries. I-71 North was shut down for about 6 hours. Metro Police are investigating a deadly overnight shooting near PRP. Just after midnight last night, LMPD found an adult and a teenager, both males, suffering from gunshot wounds in a house in the 6500 block of Hackle Drive. The man died at the scene. The teenager was transported to U of L Hospital for treatment. There are currently no details on a suspect, but if you have any information on that shooting, you know the number 574-LMPD is that anonymous tip line. And Metro Police are trying to track down a robbery suspect. Take a look at this photo. LMPD said the robbery happened outside of Main Street Liquors there on West Main Street. That's in the Portland neighborhood. It happened back on January 11th. Police believe this man went inside as the victim was leaving, robbed them of their money and personal items, and then ran. No one was hurt. Police said the suspect was wearing 80s style pants and a white ball cap with a small logo. They also believe he lives in the area. The suspect is considered armed and dangerous, so if you know or see anything, 574-LMPD is that number to call. We now know the man shot and killed in the Russell neighborhood Sunday was a Metro Corrections officer. The coroner said 44-year-old Michael Sewada was killed around 10:30 in the morning in an alley off Cedar Street. We obtained an internal email from the director of Metro Corrections saying Weda died over the weekend. He was described as a hardworking, dedicated, and inspirational officer. Just an hour from now, we are expected to learn more about the circumstances around his death during a joint news conference involving LMPD's homicide unit and the mayor. Our Travis Reese will be at that briefing, and we'll have more coming up today beginning at 4 o'clock. The suspect in a deadly shooting in the Algonquin neighborhood made his first court appearance this morning. Metro Police arrested 40-year-old Charles Miles yesterday. He's been charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting from September of last year. Court documents say Miles shot Jamal Chum multiple times on Moore Court near Hill Street. He is also charged with possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. His bail is set at $100,000 and he's scheduled back in court February 25th. Right now, a Jeffersonville man is facing charges for his wife's death on Valentine's Day. Police said a family friend tipped them off to a domestic disturbance on Westwood Drive just off Salem Noble Road Friday night. We're told officers forced their way into that home, and when Taylor Meyer came out of the garage and approached them, he was aggressive and later arrested. Officers found Meyer's wife, Deborah, dead inside their home. They've also found 3 children who we're told are now being cared for by the Department of Child Services. Meyer is charged with murder. Goodwill Industries of Kentucky is joining an initiative to curb gun violence. It's called Pivot to Peace, and it's a joint effort between the city, Volunteers of America, and the University of Louisville Hospital. It aims to reduce violence and help promote peace in the city.
We serve as an entry point. Many of our patients are victims of violence, and so that gives them the opportunity to be introduced into the health system, but also at times an opportunity to rethink their behaviors that have led to the hospitalization and consider other alternatives.
The program plans to connect with individuals at high risk for gun violence through outreach, engagement, and direct intervention, all focused on de-escalation and conflict resolution, all in an effort to curb the rise of gun violence across the metro. JCPS is making progress in its search for Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio's replacement. Saturday, families and community members were invited to weigh in on what they want in a new leader during a forum at the Academy at Shawnee. Parents expressed they want a superintendent hired from within the district and for transparency in the process to continue.
This is part of education. If you have a child in public schools, it's not, I'm gonna send my baby to school and then they're coming back home and that's it. It's you being involved. It's you talking to teachers. It's getting to know the principals and the MHPs and the counselors. It's so much more. That is what true education is. Being involved, being in a community, being a family.
The online survey for that superintendent search has closed. The district plans to interview candidates in April and May and hopes to have a new superintendent in place by July.